Um, it was a good time to kind of reflect on Santa Clara as well as look forward to UTEP this Monday coming up. Obviously, rules have changed where you can do these exhibition games in front of fans, which is awesome. Also, in conjunction with our Children's Hospital, which is great as well. So, for a good cause, but you know, the rules evolving certainly are beneficial for all these teams to be able to play true opponents in front of fans. So very good. Santa Clara was kind of just what the doctor ordered. I don't really look at it as who won, who lost. I look at it more as just an opportunity to play a different opponent. We did a little controlled scrimmage at the beginning, half court. Then we did a 40-minute game. Then we did a 10-minute game at the end for some guys who didn't play as much. But it was good. I mean, played everybody. You know, everybody always says don't look at the results. I truly believe they do not matter because I'm not going to play everybody. The other coach, whoever that may be, is not going to do that as well. So a lot of things to look at and improve on, but very much excited about UTEP game as well.
What's their response been to game film that isn't teammates?
Yeah, I mean, it's helpful. I mean, it's hopefully as we continue to move forward, we'll be able to do more of these. You know, I'd love to do about 4 or 5 preseason games because as a coach, it's hard to see everything. You know, in practice, you may get a basket and you feel really good about it. You're like, oh, it's against our defense. So it just feels, or it's so much easier to teach when you see, okay, this is what Santa Clara did, and this is how we're going to respond to it. So we had a really good practice yesterday. I think we understand just a sense of urgency. Although we played Santa Clara last year and beat them, I think Santa Clara was prepared for what we had done last year, which was great, and burnt us on some things that we did last year that we had to adjust on, and that's what's going to happen when you get into conference and so on. So I thought they were great in practice yesterday. They were very attentive during film, and the more film you can get to learn from those things, the better.
And the opponent, when you pick a Santa Clara, when you pick a UTEP maybe was just because it was a bus ride, I don't know. But how do you pick these opponents? Do you try and match up with something you're gonna see in the regular season, or is it really just kind of random?
UTEP was proximity for sure. Santa Clara, Coach Sendek, I think, had mentioned to me about doing it, and I said, great, let's do it. So it's a little more random than you would think. Now, I wouldn't want to play a team that's going to play all zone, like the old Syracuse zone or something like. So you try to make it make sense geographically for sure, and then style of play wise, if it appeals to us, we'll do it. But didn't really seek out UTEP. We sought out because we thought it would, you know, just financially it'd be easier.
I forgot what your question was. I was going to ask your question again.
Yeah.
No.
Give it time.
Yeah.
We'll do it again.
Jay Wright, Tony Bennett, ladies coaches, to step aside amid all the changes with college basketball. And look, you're in the middle of this, and you've seen all the changes over the years. I know we've asked you about this before, but I mean, how hard is it to coach college basketball now as opposed to when it was when you were just doing this 5-6 years ago?
Well, I'm not going to retire anytime soon, so don't worry about that. But you know, it's always been hard. But I would say every profession is hard. Every walk of life, you're going to have the people that complain about what it used to be and what it's evolved. I mean, that's normal for every walk of life. I think the hard part right now is there is so much volatility in everything that we do. But you have to find a way to just figure it out. But you're looking at NIL, you don't know where it's going to be. You're looking at conference realignment, you don't know where it's going to be. So it's just like year to year. And do I like that? No, of course I don't like it, but I'm also not going to sit and whine about it and complain about it. If I have a solution, I'd be happy to offer it. I don't have a solution. I think when NIL started, we were all like, this is a really good idea. It is not what it was supposed to be. Conference realignment, as I said at Media Day, like, I don't get at all why the Mountain West needed to break up. I get why Washington and Oregon wanted to go to the Big Ten. UCLA, USC want to go. I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense, but I get it. It was a lot of money. I don't believe that the Mountain West breaking up was necessary. But again, things I can't control. So yeah, it's hard. I don't find it substantially harder to coach the players. But predicting the future has become certainly more difficult, and building a roster is becoming more and more challenging. But everybody's dealing with it too.
Coach, what was some of the, you talked about a little bit about it, but some of the bright spots that you got out of the scrimmage, and also, what are you looking to get out of the exhibition game against UTEP?
As a coach, this is year 13 for me, and I've got a pretty good idea of all the hypotheticals that could happen when you start playing teams every 3 or 4 days, and you try to cover all your bases before they happen. And like an open scrimmage is as simple as, where do you sit during a timeout? How do you act on the bench? How do you sprint on the court? How do you communicate? All those little things. Same thing will be in front of fans, which will be obviously even better, just to get the jitters out and all that. Because we do have a lot of new guys who have not played in the pit, have not played in front of our fans. That stuff does matter. But I don't know, UTEP style's aggressive. They're one of the best teams in the country, getting steals, which is great. I know UCLA will press. I know St. John's will press. So that's good for our guys to experience that. But I really look at more just game day routine. How are you going to react in a shoot-around? Are you going to be ready to go? All those little things. And then obviously when the lights go on, you got to compete at the highest level.
And I just had a brain fart. Second
You're
question.
doing great.
Take a breath.
My answer was so good that you forgot it.
Yeah,
It happens.
You got me, man.
Yeah.
As far as what you see from your guys, how hard is it going to be to get set on the starting rotation?
I don't agonize over starting, but it'll be more challenging to figure out the 8, 9, or 10 for sure. Starting, I think I've got a pretty good feel for it. Now everything is different game to game, but a rotation, we do have a lot of depth, which is great, but you cannot play 16 guys. It's impossible.
Real quick on the UTEP thing, then they do sort of match up with St. John's and UCLA, but more coincidence than anything on that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. CJ Nolan, Donovan Dent.
I will say this: I did. We played UTEP my first year, and they were really, really aggressive, and that style exposed us. So I thought it would be good to go against that. Now I'm going to be honest; I have no idea if they still play that style. My assistants have watched more of it. I was watching more of our Santa Clara stuff, so I do think that'll be good to the uncomfortable style that they play. It will be moderately similar to UCLA and St. John's.
It could be ugly though.
Could be
an ugly game.
That's fine.
Okay. CJ, Donovan, and Amzil get voted the team captains. I'm curious your thoughts on those three being selected, and it was by the team, right? Mm-hmm. And CJ in particular, being a new guy, what does that say about a new guy getting it?
Yeah, I always leave it up to the players to vote. I don't vote. The assistants don't vote. Some teams have taken it really, really seriously. Some have not. It just depends on the group. The goal more than anything with captains is I honestly try to stay out of the locker room as much as possible and make that their space. Now, game day, in there before, halftime, after games for sure, but I want that locker room to be a space where if we were listening in, they're all saying the right things. And I think that Donovan, Mustapha have been in the program, they've experienced success. They should know what it takes to win the way we're trying to win, and they should be saying the right things and checking guys, which that's uncomfortable for everybody, but they need to do that. CJ, certain guys have it. CJ reminds me of Mo a little bit, Jamal Baker a little bit. They just have this veteran presence to them, and you could tell that, yeah, they want to do well personally, but they just want to win. And CJ has, you just got to watch one practice and CJ gains your respect. So it doesn't always seem like it's the case with the peers, but it was obviously great that he was able to do that.
Let me do just a real quick follow.
Sure.
The Mo, Jamal Baker, and CJ similarity, is that something now that you'll maybe look at in this transfer portal world? Well, you will look at one year guy left every year maybe to add that?
Our landscape at the University of New Mexico as it pertains to basketball has changed over the last month with what happened. And I think in recruiting, there's some uncertainty of where we're going to be in 2 years. So we may need to look in the spring and just sell to certain guys, hey, this is what the Mountain West will look like next year. Because it is becoming a little bit challenging. People are using it against us in recruiting a little bit. So we have got to, we're going to have to kind of recalibrate everything whenever this new league, whoever joins it, and be able to sell what we could sell. There's a lot of unknown for the programs that are in the Mountain West now. And there's probably a lot of unknowns for the old pack, whatever they're going to call it. Transfers are very valuable. And I think coaches are fighting doing it the way they've always done it, which is from the ground up, developing and so on, but there's a financial component to every kid you sign. I mean, it's just, it's getting more and more challenging. So, we'll always take swings at guys in the fall. We're excited about what we've been able to do, but the spring is more clear for sure what you need. And transfers are way less worried about. Like what I value right now in year 13 of being a head coach versus what I valued in year 2 or 3 is substantially different. And I think transfers, mindset, and the people around the transfers, there's not as many big circles for transfers as there are the high school kids. So we've been very fortunate to bring in high character kids, whether it's high school kids, transfers, and we'll continue to do that. So you don't hit on them all, but you try to.
Coach, how similar will the UTEP exhibition be to the way you're going to start on the 4th? Will it be more similar, considering that they're going to pressure you and your guys that are going to play mass minutes?
I'll still try to play as many guys as I can. I'll look at it more like a Santa Clara game type experience than I will a Nichols State game experience. I don't know how Nichols plays at all, so I wouldn't know. But this will be way more like Santa Clara. I mean, I'm not going to be able to stop it and walk on the court and all those things, but I'll try to play as many guys as possible.
Anyone else?
No, one more. Football. Usually this time of year when you're ramping up, when Lobo basketball is getting going on exhibition games and the season's about to start, that's all anybody in this town cares about most years. How much are you paying attention to what Bronco and Lobo football has going across the street?
I'm paying attention to it because I'm rooting for Bronco's success because I really, really like him. And I did the same for Danny, but I'm way more, I care about the people, and I just think that staff, getting to know them and just what they're trying to build has been really fun to see. Regardless of realignment and all those things, like the whole experience is better when football is good. Football's different. Now it's kind of changed a little bit, but it's once a week, normally on a Saturday. There's nothing cooler than getting the whole community outside on your campus. A little bit different of a feel than basketball, where basketball is a weeknight, late, so on. So there's not tailgating and all those things. So the more vibrant this community can be, I think the better as it pertains to New Mexico athletics and football. I'm very cranky about football realignment stuff. So I don't even want to think about that part of it, but I just want them to win because I know Coach Mendenhall does a phenomenal job, and I know how good it'll be for this place when football is really good. So they've won 3 in a row, got a big one versus Colorado State. Not only, my thing with them is like, love that you're winning, but I just think they're fun to watch too. The points they're putting up, Dampier is phenomenal. So it's gonna, that's not even close to Broncos program yet. Like, yeah, they're winning, but like this whole thing, he's just putting it into place, and it's going to be fun to watch it evolve for sure.
Good.
All right, joined by Mustapha Amzil, newly named co-captain. So questions first off.
Let's start with that. Get voted by your teammates, team captain. What is that like? Have you been a team captain before?
Yeah, not in college yet, but with the national team in Finland. But it's just honor, my teammates trust me. So I think I'm one of the older guys on the team now. So I got experience I can help everybody with.
And personally and team perspective, both. Scrimmage on Saturday, how did you do? How do you think the team did? Any surprises to you from the scrimmage?
It was a good game. We got the win. It was still a lot of trying things out with the team. First time playing against somebody with the new guys. I think it was nice to see the freshmen step in and play. They played fearless, was ready to go. So it was exciting. Monday next game, I played okay. It was a good game. But yeah, just ready for next game.
How do you feel like your role has changed? You're one of the veterans on this team, and from a leadership standpoint.
I think I gotta bring it, every day. I feel like because when you're younger, especially for me, it was like day in day out. It depended on how I was feeling, of if I was communicating a lot or if I was in my own bubble. But now no matter what, I need to be the guy you guys can trust and lean on, if there's any questions. So I'm just trying to make everybody better, help everybody.
And coming off the scrimmage with the Santa Clara, what would you like to see from you guys as getting better wise? Like, what would you like to see against UTEP?
Well, just play hard, I would say, because we got the skill. So it's just a matter of us playing tougher than another team, getting rebounds, getting steals, deflections. I don't think there's many teams that can beat us if we bring our A game.
Last season, you had a rough start to the season shooting the ball, but you persevered through that and turned into one of the top 6 men really in the western part of the country. Do you change your philosophy going into this year, or is anything different about those initial first steps to a season for you?
Not really. Just trying to build on how I finished last year and just keep getting better. I feel like I can still get a lot better. So it's just working out. Not really. The mindset is still the same every day. Focus on getting better.
And then a team captain is supposed to be the guy who calls people out, is really vocal in practice. You talked about stepping outside your bubble. Is that something that's new to you? Do you have to tell yourself to be the more assertive personality type, or is that something that's just kind of coming naturally to you now that you're getting a little older?
It's I think it comes with age. I feel like you guys can tell me I'm the young in the room, but I feel like on the team I'm the old head. But it is. I think it's more natural now, and just having the knowledge and the experience, because a lot of these guys came from high school, so they not they don't know what to expect yet. So it's just trying to talk, and I think my English been getting better too, so I can talk more.
Mustapha, you're kind of the versatile part of this team. Where are you playing more of right now? Inside or outside?
I don't know. I would say both, because it's I'd be rim running, I'd be posting up, but then we play a lot of the system we have is a lot of 4 out, 1 in when we got Nelly inside. So I would say it's equal right now.
Since you've been here, have you had any conversations with some of the new guys about how loud this place can get?
Yeah, definitely. They're excited. They can't wait.
And on that note, have you tried to really tell them, like, unless you really experience it, you can have an idea about it, but you don't know until you actually feel that. Have you talked to them about that, what that might feel like? Or?
Yeah, for sure. It's some guys might be nervous, some guys might be ready. It's just I tell them they seen it on TV. A lot of guys came for visits when we had games, so they seen it, but they're excited.
It might be too early for this, but what's the big change without 2 really ball-dominant guards being here? Obviously, Donovan's still a ball-dominant guard, but Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn Jr. were 3 years here that fans saw. have the ball a lot. They kind of dictate what happens on offense. Either one shoots or one's penetrating like crazy. Have you seen a difference yet that fans can start to get ready for? Is the flow of the offense any different, noticeably different in any way?
For sure. I think last year we played a lot of pick and rolls with the guards. We had some good guards, House, Mash, then. Now it's more of a ball movement, trying to find the spot to shoot, do the flow. I think we get the rebound. We got big guys who can push the ball. So we be running the wings and throwing the ball ahead and posting up. It's a little bit different. I think everybody can see day one.
Last year, Nelly got here so late. It took a while for him to get going, but he turned into a pretty consistent player. Just from watching him in practice a few times we have, he looks like he's ready to go. How much different is he now, at this point, than he was this time last year?
Was he? I don't think he was here this time last year. So
That's
but,
true. Yeah.
But he's growing in the leadership role too. He's more vocal in practice now. He goes hard, holds everybody accountable. I think he gets all the bigs better because if they don't focus, then he gonna make them pay. I think he makes this team a lot better.